Caledonia County, northeastern Lamoille County, southern Orleans County, east central Franklin County, all in northwestern Vermont until 3:15 this afternoon. Doppler radar indicating a potential tornado. We've heard some rumblings and rumors on Twitter of potential tornadoes in and around the Montgomery Center area, but we have nothing confirmed with that. That is purely, again, kind of rumors that are coming across the internet. You got to be very careful with those. But nonetheless, it's not surprising to hear that at least folks are seeing funnel clouds and things of that nature. Here is the storm we're watching. Now you see Albany, that's in northern Vermont. This storm itself is headed out toward Orleans, Albany, and Barton. Essentially, it's headed right out toward I-91 at this point. It's going to continue moving off to the east. The mean storm motion, the average motion of the storm, is east at about 25 miles per hour. So if we take it from the center of rotation and move it east at 25, again, that puts it essentially right into Barton by the time we get to about 3:50 this afternoon. Albany at about 3:25. We do have a school near the path of the storm, the North Browington School, but it looks like you'll be on the north side of this storm. You can see the dot in the upper side of the cone. That's where the school is, so I think it's too far north to worry about it there. But Albany and Barton, we are on guard now for what is frequent lightning. We've got some large hail that's on the way. Let me give you a little bit of an idea for what's coming on here and what to expect. Essentially, the pink that you're seeing showing up on the radar here is the hail core. So what you see is a large area of ice that's up in the sky, and that's what the radar picks up on. That's when you see the pink. The little appendage, the little notch you see down the bottom is where you tend to find your rotation. So even though you've got something that says meso that shows up farther to the north, typically it's right in that little notch that we find what is the tornado development. And right now there's no confirmation of one on the ground, but radar's indicating a tornado essentially coming right over the junction of Route 100 and Route 118. So if you're in the path of this storm, you'd want to take shelter down in the basement as the storm makes it through. In Albany, Vermont, you'll want to do the same thing. If we zoom the view out just a little bit, though, here's the point that I want to get across, and this applies to much, much more of the New England viewing area. We have a number of storms that are continuing to make their way across the region right now, and each of these storms has the capability of doing damage. Severe thunderstorm warnings are out now in Brandon, Vermont. In Rutland, although you're just south of the worst of it. Middlebury, Vermont, a real nasty storm that's coming in on top of you right now. All these are swinging east. They're going to be crossing Route 89. So these are all areas that we need to be on guard for the potential of damaging weather. Meanwhile, what I'll do here is I'll add one more radar, zoom out just a little bit more, and what you see is there's a big line of thunderstorms that goes all the way back out into New York State, right? So here's western Massachusetts, then you get hundreds of miles of not much happening, and then you have more thunderstorms that are in here. Well, this is going to have to still move off to the east, and there's a lot of instability, a lot of favorable conditions for thunderstorm development in and around western Massachusetts. That does include the Pioneer Valley, though the tornado watch that's up until 9 p.m. is only for Berkshire County and all the state of Vermont. Then it goes out into New York State. So at this point, I can tell you that the Pioneer Valley, for example, is not under any tornado watch. But part of the reason Berkshire County is underneath the watch is because a lot of times our north-south oriented valleys, like the Hudson Valley in and around the Albany area and running down to Poughkeepsie, and also some of the valleys in places like Great Barrington, of course, a site of a large tornado years ago, and that Great Barrington is just one example of north-south oriented valleys that are going to be at risk here over the course of the late afternoon evening. To give you a time frame estimate on this, well, we're already dealing with some thunderstorms now. If I zoom in a little more, you can see there's a few storms now. Just north of Greenfield, you've got one. You've got another one up near Newfane, headed toward Bellows Falls. Those are both moving off to the east right now. But additional storms are likely to develop, and the greatest trigger won't arrive to western Massachusetts until between 6 and 8 p.m. And again, that big red that just plotted on the map, that is your tornado watch area up until 9 o'clock this evening. So in the most immediate term, our biggest concern is for the large storm that appears capable of producing a tornado, at least indicated on radar, headed through northern Vermont. This will end up making its way to Barton and Island Pond over the course of the next hour. If it holds together, West Burke, you should be on guard. You're not far outside of the path. Any southward drift would put you in the path of this thing. We know that some of you do watch us from Lyndonville and St. Johnsbury. This storm will likely end up to your north, but we'll be keeping a very close eye on it. Newport, the storm goes down to your south. So again, watching very carefully what is a tornado warning up until 3:15 this afternoon. If there's an extension of the warning, if we get confirmation of a tornado on the ground, or if it appears it's going to threaten any of these other towns that I haven't mentioned that I've told you that we think will stay south of the storm, I'll be on right away to let you know. Regardless, we'll keep you updated through the afternoon and at the very latest be back at 3:30. You're watching NECN.